Alright guys, Brandon, we're going to do round 2 of this because yesterday I realized that the video that we collected, so if you listen here, you don't hear a loud tick, right? We'll stand back here 2 feet. There's no loud tick. The reason why we got to do it this way is because unlike the human eye and the human ear, cameras don't have the same range I can hear the ticking back here, whereas with the other car I can't. I'll even go back even further. Okay. Now the other thing is, when this car was brand new, it ticked louder. It's got over 2,000 miles on it. And so what happens is, the way that it stops ticking is it's literally grinding itself into shape. Okay, now this is the older car with the 25,000 miles. See, there's no tick back here. I can't hear anything with my ears. And there's no harsh tick right here. And again, I'll put it up here. So for those of you who don't understand, noises are caused by impacts. That's why, whether it's a drum or more cowbell, whatever it is, those impacts are what cause the noises to happen, right? So when you have metal components in your engine undergoing impacts, it makes louder noises. All right, so there's a few things that I didn't touch on yesterday because I was just so ticked off with the whole thing. And again, I'm not mad at the dealership. The dealership didn't do anything wrong. They're doing their best. These guys, just to give you, there's not a lot of Corvettes in this area, first and foremost, where I'm at right now. And so these guys have been really great being sponges to learn what's going on. Like if I say, hey, it's this way instead of that way, they've learned that I know enough about things to at least investigate what I say instead of just brush it off. So they basically were relaying the message to me that they don't think that General Motors is going to consider the Pico test that was taken to be sufficient evidence that there's a problem. That's why I'm making these videos now, is because if the General Motors engineers and lawyers want to get up in front of a magistrate and lie and say, Your Honor, there's nothing wrong with the other car, the new car, there's nothing wrong with it. Yes, there is, guys. And I'll tell you why General Motors is being the way that they are. It's actually deja vu of the DCT issues in the very beginning with the Stingray. And what happened was, I'll give you a perfect example. I helped one of my friends by the name of Dan, which was the orange car that we took to Carlisle, which was the lemon, which the GM engineers had a customer in the audience raise his hand, where you have like all the engineers underneath the fancy GM tent, and it's a big tent, and they got a couple cars parked underneath and everything. In 2001, one of the customers raised his hand and said, what about these Corvette Stingrays C8s that are becoming lemons because the DCTs are dropping like flies because you guys' service schedule's wrong on the DCT filter. So the guy was specifically citing my posts, because I would put up posts, many people would put up posts, and many of the moderators in the different groups would delete the posts. The little GM puppet worm people, they would delete the posts. So I was the one who really fought back hard, and that's why the Vet Titans group had to be created, was because all the little worms of General Motors were trying to silence that there was a problem, and they literally, I think it appears as though they worked maliciously to get the project manager at Tremec fired, who agreed with us and came out and said there was a problem, and there needs to be a bigger filter, which takes longer to clog. When you double the surface area of a filter on a DCT, you're doubling the time and miles it takes for that filter to clog. It's very simple. So Tremec had told General Motors up front that they needed a bigger filter, and General Motors disobeyed. And then when the filters would clog and the transmissions would fail, General Motors refused to send the clogged filters to Tremec because they didn't want to give Tremec the evidence. And this came straight from Tremec project managers, that General Motors was not sending them the filters when they should have been. So I just want to throw all that out there, guys. So with that said, those of you who think that I'm overly confident or whatever that this is going to become a lemon, the other one, the new one, it's because I see the writing on the wall. And what the writing on the wall is it's the same thing that was going on with the transmissions. The transmissions were the bottleneck of Bowling Green production for Stingrays in the very beginning, okay? And so now the bottleneck for Z06s is engines, supposedly. I've heard that from a couple different sources. Could be true, could be untrue. But based on GM's decision to go ahead and ship these cars out the way that they are, and based on GM's decision to not ship a crate motor to the dealership who sold me that and say, listen, we know there's a problem with the car. We're going to have the dealership replace the engine because we don't have time here at Bowling Green. The dealership's going to do it under warranty. It's going to be taken care of. Everything's going to be fine. And now the fact that GM is fighting on this when I'm making this a very public known issue, right? They're getting a lot of negative publicity about this one, guys. So the fact that GM is just flat out refusing to fix that car, and it's not just mine. There's 3 other vehicles that I know of that are in limbo right now with the ticking engines, where, because the customers have reached out to me because they found out, hey, if you got a problem with the car, you better hit up Brandon at Vet Titans, because he's the one who actually knows what's going on when everybody else is trying to suppress everything, because they're all GM's little puppet worm people. So, our safeties are on the line. If an engine blows while we're going around a curve fast, this putting oil all over the back wheels, we're spinning off the road. You're on the tail of the dragon, your engine decides to blow, you're gone, guys. You're dead. You're on a road, and all of a sudden you're a windy road somewhere, and all of a sudden your engine blows, and oil goes all over your back tires, and you spin, and your car ends up left to center and hits a minivan with a mom and kids in it. You're dead, and so are they. All because General Motors is too fucking cheap to send out motors. It's a choice. And so this choice of General Motors not sending out motors is based on economics, but it's based on low IQ economics. The same as we explained that Pamela Crick was too dense and too low IQ to understand that in my past lemon situations, it would have been cheaper for her to take my advice and do business with the dealership who was going to sell a car $10,000 back of 231 invoice price. She argued and said, no, we only do 231 invoice price. It's like, okay, Pamela, if you want to pay $10,000 extra for the car, so be it. Knock yourself out. And then when she realized how stupid she was, she completely boycotted me buying that vehicle, which is illegal. You can't just tell a customer, no, you're not allowed to pick that one. That's against lemon law. But they did it. General Motors does not adhere to the laws, guys. I've got it documented. These guys are very in the wrong. They're way out of fucking bounds.